Times Now is the only channel to access Sushant Singh Rajput's complete post-mortem report. A 7-page autopsy report of Cooper Hospital has been accessed by us. Let's take you first through the details of this autopsy report. The interesting bit, of course, is the ligature mark that has been spoken of, Bhavtosh. If you could take us through the details of that.
Well, in fact, the autopsy report that was prepared by a panel of doctors at Cooper Hospital has now been accessed by Times Now. It gives details as to how Sushant Singh Rajput could have died. Well, it has said that there are no ante-mortem injuries on his body, which effectively means for any viewer or a layman is the fact that it does not have any injury marks on the body, that he was not injured in any kind of scuffle. It also mentioned that there are no injuries on the back of his head. It says that the death is due to asphyxiation, which is consistent, Padmaja, with any case of hanging. The question is that whether he was hung or whether he hanged himself, and that's the reason why CBI will give this report again to experts, give this report back to the CFSL experts.
With me, we also have Dr. Rao with us on the phone line. Dr. Rao, I want to ask you about some specifics because there is a lot of curiosity about the contents of, what this autopsy report says. And I want to point out to you, nothing should be left open to interpretation. So since you're a forensic expert, what does it mean when it says that a pressure abrasion ligature mark present around the neck at the level of thyroid cartilage passes obliquely upward, backward towards mastoid process on both sides? It is absent over backside of neck and occipital protuberance.
This clearly speaks that it is a ligature mark which we find it in case of suspension or so-called hanging.
For in a case of hanging, for the mark to be absent at the back of the neck?
No, that clearly indicates that the ligature mark where the knot was present on the back of the neck and the front part what has been described, the imprint abrasions, that is the pressure marks as a result of the force acting on that ligature mark, and that is due to either the weight of the head or the weight of the body, which we usually find in the suspension, that is hanging. And the back side, there is no ligature mark. That clearly indicates the noose. It was not very tight and the knot was present on the back. Since the mark is present on the front and there is no mark on the back, the knot was above the what's so called back of the neck. And we don't know it's a slip knot or a fixed knot, but definitely the knot is present on the back of the neck.
Forensic expert, I'm just going to ask you directly. There is a lot of speculation about how this was not a death by hanging. It could have been done by not the individual, but by other individuals. Is it possible to discern that from what you see in this report?
Definitely. The report speaks a lot about the manner of death. See, about the cause of death, it is very clear that it is asphyxia as a result of hanging. The manner of death, see, in the absence of any other injuries to the body, any other injuries means, is it a resistance injury, offensive or defensive injury, that rules out any scuffle or any forcible hanging. That is number one. And in the absence of any other fatal disease process or fatal injuries, that is most important. See, any of the lesions in the body which can cause death is not existing, apart from the ligature mark present of the neck.
Okay.
That clearly
One more thing I want to ask you. It mentions skin at ligature mark is hard, brownish in color and parchment-like. Is that usual?
Parchmentized, yes. So this is what happens is when the abrasions, whatever is present as a result of pressure, and this is allowed to dry, it will become hardened. That hardening of that ligature or the suspension or the imprint marks, that is, we call it as parchmentization, which is clearly indicates that there is a time elapsed after the pressure marks on its neck.
All right, Dr. Dinesh Rao, that has been very, very helpful. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Just out of curiosity as well, usually when there's a case of unnatural death, not the natural passing away, is it usual for friends and family, especially friends, being allowed access to the body in the mortuary?
No, see, definitely nobody is allowed except for the near ones, especially at the before the post-mortem, for the identification process, which the police knows who is the person who is identifying, and his name will be entered in the post-mortem report. That is actually one or two persons. But definitely the others are not allowed because morgue is not a place for the any of the persons to trespass or get inside.
Because in the present case, there was not really a question of identification. He had already been identified by the family. So you would say it is unusual for another person being allowed entry?
Oh,
Not the next of kin?
Definitely, as per the norm, they are not supposed to enter inside the morgue.
All right, Dr. Rao. And one more thing, already there are questions raised about the absence of the time of death. You would also call that curious?
No, this time of death is very, very important in this case because for two reasons. One is time of death is very essential for the investigating officer to start from the time of death. The investigation actually starts in any offenses. So that is that importance. And the second importance is to corroborate with the statement given by the witnesses or the persons who was with him. So to corroborate their statements with the time of death, it is very essential. It's very unfortunate the doctors are not given. However, the investigation officers preserve the right to seek the clarifications from those doctors regarding the time of death.
But why would somebody leave out the time of death, since it is one of the prerequisites? It would be almost, the most obvious thing for someone to put down in the report. How could someone miss that out?
No, definitely. It's a very good question you raise. It is very unusual. Even for me, I feel it's very unfortunate. How is the panel of doctors miss such a very important objectives of conducting a autopsy? See, there are few objectives of the conducting the autopsy apart from the cause of death, the manner of death, and even the the identification. The times is and collection of evidence material. The most important thing is the most important objective is the times is death. It's very unfortunate they have missed it.
Okay, so here is somebody who is a seasoned forensic expert saying that for someone like him who has seen multiple such cases, it is extremely curious and quote unquote unfortunate that a detail like that is left out. Point number 2, when the identity of the deceased is not under dispute, it has already been established by the family members, then why was someone else allowed access into the morgue? Both of these important points being made by Dr. Rao. Thank you very much for joining us. And this is the starting point for what we have tried to ask since yesterday. At 6 p.m, we showed you how Riya Chakravarti yesterday was accompanied by 2 people allowed inside the mortuary of Cooper Hospital. That is where Sushant Singh Rajput's body had been kept. This, mind you, was after the autopsy on him had already been conducted, but the autopsy report was not yet out. After that, Times Now went to Cooper Hospital to find out really what their SOP, their standard operating process is. You've heard Dr. Rao speak about it, how it is usually done in cases of unnatural death. Now here, people at Cooper Hospital themselves talk about the entire process. It will then become clear to you how people at the Cooper Hospital violated their own well laid down processes. Listen.
बॉडी देखनी है पोस्टमार्टम में, तो मतलब किसकी परमिशन लगती है?
बॉडी आपको नहीं दिखाएंगे।
नहीं दिखाएंगे, सिर्फ फैमिली वालों के लिए।
किसको नहीं दिखा देंगे? एलिगेशन है।
हाँ,
बॉडी की एलिगेशन है।
हाँ,
क्या हुआ है?
नहीं प्रोसीजर पूछ रहे थे।
ऐसा नहीं, किसको एलिगेशन होगा तो फोटो शूटिंग मीटिंग करके होता है, वो रखते एक आदमी को।
हाँ, बट फैमिली को नहीं दिखाते, किसी को भी नहीं।
माहिती ना तो कोण आहे? व्यक्तीचं पण मला काल संध्याकाळी पाठवलं 6 वाजता. मग
कोई और डॉक्टर हो सकते हैं इससे बात कर सकते हैं?
ये आएंगे, बाहर के आएंगे।
माहिती ना राणी असेल.
किधर है बॉडी?
पीएम डॉक्टर साहब
बॉडी किधर है तुम्हारा?
बॉडी आएगी सर, नहीं दिखाते।
एलिगेशन होगा तो दिखा दे, तो भी साथ में रहेंगे पुलिस के साथ सब।
पुलिस साथ में रहने
के साथ जाने तो नहीं होगा।
Okay, joining us now on the show, we have R.P. Singh, National Secretary of the BJP, Raj Lakshmi Joshi, political analyst, Tausif Ahmed, political analyst, and my first question is to film director Akashdeep Sabir. Why would such exceptions be made for Riya Chakravarti, Akashdeep?
I think the people at the hospital should answer, but if somebody who's lost her loved one is going to see him for the last time, that itself can't be a premise for argument. If it also means that she has broken some laws, then I don't think she is that powerful that she can do it on her own. Obviously, somebody has allowed her in. So we would like to have a little more information on
Exactly. That is exactly what I'm asking. I'm not questioning the motive of her being there. For starters, all I'm saying is on a purely procedural basis, Tausif Ahmed, why were rules broken?
You know, procedurally there are so many things that don't tie up, but I think for us to decide why would be a little wrong. Let's wait for the outcome now.
I am not deciding anything. I am asking the very basic question to Tausif Ahmed, who himself is a lawyer.
All right.
How can rules be bent? You would agree
All
that
right.
rules and processes and standard operating procedures were not followed over here? Tausif Ahmed?
We didn't know the procedures. We just heard about it right now that they have been broken.
As has already been pointed out by one of your panelists, this question should be asked to the hospital authorities only, whether there was such a procedure or not.
And why was she allowed?
Anyone who is in a living, and why was she allowed? Obviously, she falls in the category of someone who is very close, almost like a family, even if not a family, because on various judicial rulings, live-in relationship has been recognized with certain rights.
Okay, so this was only about showing a humanitarian concession for a grieving relative, R.P. Singh.
Unless proved otherwise.
Unless proved otherwise, and why would you impute motives to it? R.P. Singh.
Padmaja, I'm shocked. I mean, people say that she was one of the loved ones. She was very close. As I understand law and as I understand the norms, the loved one only means blood relation. But I can't be loved one of someone. I never interrupted you, sir. Please.
Okay.
Are you a lawyer? Are you a lawyer? Please.
Well,
or are you a lawyer?
I don't have to be a lawyer to be on this panel.
Don't interrupt. I never interrupted you. No.
All right.
No, but the argument is here we're making that distinction more moral distinction and saying she's not a blood relative. She was in a relationship. She was in a relationship with him and she herself accepted it. So she was definitely a close kin, if not a closed one, if not a closed relative.
She was the only one living with him.
Certificate,
The rest was staff.
certificate that she has a living relationship which has been authenticated by the court of law.
She said it in a statement, so there's nothing hidden about it. She said it in a statement.
No, but
No, you cannot.
how did the authority, how the doctors allowed her to be there? How can doctors or police or people who are concerned allow her to be there?
Tausif Ahmed. Okay, that's a point. That's a point. How did the police allow? When you've had forensic experts saying very clearly, in a mortuary, nobody goes in. Nobody sees the body. And then again, there will be questions. Was there any tampering? That's the natural fallout.
Now, why the police allowed or why the hospital authorities allowed, they are the best people to give you that answer or the explanation. But given the circumstances, the cases, the investigation is going on, the initial report that came in of suicide, and even today, nothing has been disproved as of yet. Nothing has been established by after a proper course of investigation that it was.
Okay, at least you're accepting that the police has this question in addition to other questions, because so far you were arguing that the police is above reproach and police should not be asked any questions. Everything that they have done is by the book. Now, at the very least, you are conceding that there is a discrepancy in the manner in which processes have not been followed. I'm glad there is that acceptance. I'm going to put that question to Raj Lakshmi Joshi, but on the other side of a very quick break. Welcome back. The question we're asking is, why were rules bent? Why were lines crossed to allow unauthorized access, which even the lawyer of Sushant Singh Rajput's family now says is patently illegal? But Raj Lakshmi Joshi, it is being argued that here is only a concession you would make for someone who is upset. That doesn't necessarily mean Malified.
I beg your pardon. Can you please repeat the question?
The question is, all right, so there was a violation of process. But does that mean there was a malified intention?
Yeah. We could say that because
There are so many holes, there are so many inconsistencies in the entire story. Right from the part where, the way the body was found, the way the room was not opened, the door was not broken down, and instead they were waiting for 2 hours for some key maker. And after that, the way the body was taken to the Cooper Hospital, the choice of the hospital, and the way in which the entire procedure was followed, and how Riya Chakravarti and some others were allowed entry into the mortuary. And after that, the kind of the inconsistencies in the statements of all the people involved in this, whether it may be Riya Chakravarti herself or about Mr. Sandeep Singh and the household helps and everybody. There have been so many inconsistencies. There have been inconsistencies in the kind of marks that have been visible. Like we were all shocked as to how somebody could put up pictures of a dead body that was allegedly hung, and we saw it all over the social media. And actually, it looks like this was put up only to create this perception that this person has died due to hanging. Unfortunately, what has happened is a lot of people have seen a lot of inconsistencies.
The reason this is being said is the reason.
Let me ask you a very simple question. If you're saying those pictures of him lying down on the bed were purposely put out so that people realize he was being hung, doesn't it make common sense that they should have rather put out pictures of him hanging? I'm not saying that it's a clean suicide case. Too many discrepancies, fine. But sticking to the point you're making, why would I put a picture of somebody lying down to try and sell the idea that he was hanging?
I mean,
your
some
statement
details
is not
have
making
been
sense.
purposely shown, some details have been
No,
purposely
don't
kept
go into
out.
the whole case. I
So
completely agree with you. There are too many legal loopholes. Rajlakshmi, both of us talk, nobody will be able to hear. I am saying, if you go into the larger overview and mention all those points, nobody is contradicting them. There are too many legal loopholes. That's why after 60, 70 days, the case is now back to CBI. So I am not questioning that. When you come on a channel and you say, oh, these photographs of him lying down were put up because they wanted to show that he died due to hanging.
Okay.
Then they should have put up pictures of him hanging.
Okay, we'll take that forward. We'll take that forward, but I'll take a very quick break at this point. We'll take that forward, that very issue forward on the other side of a 2-minute break.
Welcome back. Times Now is the only channel to access SSR's complete post-mortem report. That's the information coming in. In fact, this post-mortem report not containing that all-important fact, which is the time of death. That's the information coming in at this point of time. Full details as far as the physical condition of Sushant Singh Rajput at the time of death. But clearly, the fact that the time of death itself was not mentioned is a massive lapse, is what experts are telling us. Let's go across to Siddhant, who's joining us for more on that. Siddhant, a big lapse as far as this particular post-mortem report is concerned. Very curious that it does not contain the time of death.
Well, that's right, Madhav. These were the claims of Sushant's family's lawyer Vikas Singh, that the postmortem report doesn't have the time of death. Now, the fact is, Madhav, I've spoken to the forensic experts also. They say that if we talk about Mumbai and Maharashtra, they usually don't write the time of death, and mostly it is written in the postmortem, the time body received and the time postmortem started and ended. And this is what is written in Sushant's postmortem as well. But the family claims that there is a foul play involved because the time of death is not mentioned. We have also gone through the postmortem copies in National Capital and other states. There we have found that in an opinion part, doctor usually writes time of death. So yes, there is a lot of discussion on this, but the fact here is that family still feels that there is foul play involved. And Madhav, this is perhaps the reason that CBI teams are really keen to question the doctors who did postmortem. there were 5 doctors who did Sushant Singh Rajput's postmortem. They all will be questioned. At the same time, questioning will also take place. Who allowed Riya Chakraborty inside the mortuary on 15th June? So the staff of Cooper Hospital will also be questioned in that regard. Back to you.
All right, Arunil also joins us on the broadcast, but before I go across to Arunil, let's quickly listen in to the reaction coming in from top forensic expert Dinesh Rao.
Already there are questions raised about the absence of the time of death. You would also call that curious?
No, this time of death is very, very important in this case, because for 2 reasons. One is, time of death is very essential for the investigating officer to start from the time of death the investigation actually starts in any offences. So that is that importance. And the second importance is to corroborate with the statement given by the witnesses or the persons who was with him. So to corroborate their statements with the time of death, it is very essential. It's very unfortunate the doctors are not given. However, the investigation officers preserve the right to seek the clarifications from those doctors regarding the time of death.
But why would somebody leave out the time of death, since it is one of the prerequisites? It would be almost, the most obvious thing for someone to put down in the report. How could someone miss that out?
No, definitely. It's a very good question you raise. It is very unusual. Even for me, I feel it's very unfortunate. How is the panel of doctors miss such a very important objectives of conducting a autopsy? See, there are few objectives of the conducting the autopsy apart from the cause of death, the manner of death, and even the the identification. The times is and collection of evidence material. The most important thing is the most important objective is the times is there.
All right, let's go across to Arunil, who's with us as well. In fact, Arunil, very, very important questions that are being raised as far as this big lapse, as far as the time of death not being mentioned. Because if the time of death is not mentioned, it would obviously raise questions as to when the crime or the death actually happened, if there was a crime at all. And just to rule out the possibility of any foul play, who was with the person at that point in time?
Well, that is right, Madhav. In fact, Siddhant extensively touched upon these glaring errors that have been reflected in the PM report, the autopsy report. One more important development I would like to point towards, Madhav, is at present I am outside the DRDO guest house. This is where Neeraj, basically the cook, has been questioned since more than 9 hours now. It has been a marathon questioning session that has been happening. Now, Neeraj's questioning is extremely important considering he is a prime witness. He was very much present in the same house where actor Sushant Singh Rajput's mortal remains were recovered. And when we spoke to him also, there were some big developments, big significant output that we had received. Basically, he also mentioned about it. Times Now had questioned him, saying that there was a difference of only 1 inch between the ceiling and the height of actor Sushant Singh Rajput.
Several such questions that come out of this entire episode. Arunil and Siddhant, I'd like to thank you for joining us. In fact, let's look into the sensational twist that has really taken place. Times Now has accessed the WhatsApp chats between Riya Chakraborty and Mahesh Bhatt from June 1st and 8th. In the 4-page chats, Riya could be seen telling Mahesh Bhatt about the breakup with Sushant and also mentioning unconditional love. The exchange has exposed Team Riya's lies, as she was the one who had told the police that Sushant had asked her to leave. Sushant's family is now lashed out at Team Riya and has asked, wasn't it honey trap and mob lynching then?
Has Riya lied on record? So contradiction number 1 is that she claimed that Sushant had requested her to live with her parents for the time being. However, the WhatsApp chat that we have accessed, that seems to suggest that Riya confessed breakup with Sushant in her messages to Mahesh Bhatt. Contradiction number 2, what she has claimed that was not at all comfortable with leaving Sushant. However, the WhatsApp chat message seems to suggest that Riya was informing Mahesh Bhatt that leaving Sushant has given her a sense of relief. So, the kind of statements that she's made earlier, the kind of, comments that she has made to the investigative agencies are not really matching with the kind of, things that we have seen in this WhatsApp chat between Riya Chakraborty and Mahesh Bhatt. She had also claimed that Sushant told her to leave immediately before his sister Meetu arrived. However, if you look at the WhatsApp conversation between her and Mahesh Bhatt, Riya's father and Bhatt were not happy with Sushant and her relationship with Sushant as well. There's another contradiction that we want to highlight for our viewers. She has claimed that she informed Sushant to let her or her brother know in case he needed to talk. However, if you see the WhatsApp conversation, Riya actually is thanking Mahesh Bhatt for unclipping her wings, hinting relationship with Sushant Singh Rajput was shackling her. This is what the WhatsApp chat is showing, and after that we know that she had blocked his number as well, and then on 14th we know the news of him committing suicide came out, and these are the contradictions that of course the CBI will also now be investigating.
All right, let's go across to Siddhant, who's joining us. Siddhant, the fact is that at some level or the other, the lies of Riya Chakrabarti and the inconsistencies of what she has said earlier and what is revealed through this chat is now open and out there in the public domain.
Well, that's absolutely right, Madhav. Riya told that it was Sushant. In her statement, Riya told that Sushant asked her to leave the house. But on the other end, these chats that we have managed to access says a different story. Now, in this chat, she is telling Mahesh Bhatt that Aisha is moving out. Something like that is written in those chats. At the same time, she was in constant touch with Mr. Bhatt, and Mr. Bhatt was advising her, giving her tips regarding her relationship with Sushant Singh Rajput. And those chats are not only for the first day, but these are the continuous chatting which was happening between Riya and Mr. Bhatt. Now the question goes out here to Mr. Bhatt that why was he interfering in somebody's personal life? Was he aware about what Sushant was going through and what was happening in their personal life? So all these questions indeed goes out to Mr. Bhatt, and even you know, Madhav, that Mumbai police also questioned him and his statement too was recorded, but that was a very basic statement. This is what I'm being told. Now, since CBI teams are here and they must be aware about this story, so they might look into this particular angle, Madhav.
Well, that's a very, very important point that you've made over there, Siddhant. CBI, in fact, questioning and, of course, will be interrogating as far as this aspect is concerned. And the questioning, in fact, continues. Now, this is Sushant Singh Rajput's cook, whose questioning is continuing. He has been grilled for over 9 hours now. That's information coming in. Let's go across to Arunil for more on that. Arunil, very big and very important development. The grilling of the cook going on for 9 long hours.
Well, that is right, Madhav. At present, I am outside the DRDO guest house. Marathon questioning being conducted over here. It is significant because Neeraj is a prime witness. He was very much in the same house. And when we spoke to him also, he gave out some significant information saying that probably actor Sushant Singh Rajput didn't want to live only. That is why even if he had a chance to get on the bed, because the bed was not at that much of a distance from the ceiling, but he didn't do it. He folded his legs. That's what Neeraj had told us. And also Neeraj had pointed saying that it was Siddharth Pitani who had seen the body first, and it was Siddharth Pitani who brought the mortal remains of actor Sushant Singh Rajput, which were basically tied to the ceiling on the bed on the insistence of a family member. A family member had called Siddharth Pitani. All these things needs to be cross-questioned, and that's what we understand that the CBI is doing at present, and this is a extremely significant development. Before this also, Samuel Miranda, who's basically one of the close associates of Riya Chakrabarti, has been seen as one of the accomplices of Riya Chakrabarti. He was also questioned by the CBI officials, and tomorrow we understand that the CBI officials are expected to go to the very flat of actor Sushant Singh Rajput, where the entire incident of the crime is expected to be recreated. Different possibilities of a suicide, of a murder also majorly, which the family has been working
Arunil, let's also, please stay with us, let's also look at another aspect of this entire episode, where the question that is being asked is whether there's a powerful hand backing and shielding Riya. Times Now's explosive exclusive reveals why this CBI probe into Sushant Singh Rajput's case is now focused on murder and not just suicide. Yesterday, we brought you visuals of Riya Chakrabarti exiting the Cooper Hospital mortuary after 45 long minutes. Today, Times Now gets you a candid camera admission of the hospital staffer who admits that no one, not even family members of the deceased, are allowed to enter the morgue.
अगर ये बॉडी देखनी है पोस्टमार्टम में तो मतलब किसकी परमिशन लगती है?
बॉडी आपको नहीं दिखाएंगे।
नहीं दिखाएंगे। सिर्फ फैमिली वालों के लिए?
किसको नहीं दिखाते हमको? एलिगेशन है?
हाँ।
बॉडी की एलिगेशन है?
हाँ।
क्या हुआ है?
नहीं प्रोसीजर पूछ रहे थे।
ऐसा नहीं किसको एलिगेशन होगा तो फोटो शूटिंग मीटिंग करके होता है वो रखते एक आदमी को।
बट फैमिली को नहीं दिखाते किसी को भी नहीं?
माहिती ना तो कोण आहे व्यक्तीचं पण मला काल संध्याकाळी पाठवलं मला 6 वाजता.
कोई और डॉक्टर हो सकते हैं इनसे बात कर सकते हैं?
माहिती नाही राणी असेल.
किधर है बॉडी?
पीएम डॉक्टर सर ना
बॉडी किधर है तुम्हारा?
बॉडी आएगी सर अभी नहीं दिखाते।
एलिगेशन होगा तो दिखाते क्योंकि साथ में रहेंगे पुलिस के साथ सब।
पुलिस साथ में रहेंगे।
And right after Times Now sting operation inside the Cooper Hospital mortuary, Sushant's family lawyer took a cue and raised several questions for Riya and the Mumbai police.
Riya had no legal status to be with Sushant Singh Rajput because she was at best, as per her own statement, was only in a live-in relationship up to the 8th of June. Up to the 8th, that's important. After that, she was not even in that live-in relationship. She has walked out of the home. She took 2 big bags and she had packed out of the home. After having left the house with all the valuables, what right did she have to be in the mortuary? So if she has gone there, Mumbai police will have to do a lot of explaining that how did they allow her to go there when the sister was there and sister was not called for any legal requirement if any was necessary.
All right, we're slipping into a quick break for now. More updates in just a few moments. Stay tuned.